This week saw the launch of Dishonored, a game described as Half-Life meets Bioshock meets Thief, and we're at a party to celebrate. We also saw Capcom making headlines over on-disc DLC, Infinity Ward accidentally making a religious blunder, Linkin Park's new tune for Medal of Honor Warfighter, news on the Gears of War movie, the Halo 4 launch trailer, and the Battlefield Bad Company TV series, as well as our first look at the new game from the creator of Wing Commander. We meet the astronauts, we find a couple of Easter eggs in XCOM, Enemy Unknown, and discuss new Borderlands 2 DLC, as well as the delay for Rayman Legends, all in this week's edition of Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, coming to you from the delightful steampunk masquerade at The Pad, a new gaming bar in South Australia, thanks to Dishonored, which launched this week for PC, PS3 and Xbox 360. Of course, a few other things happened this week too. Capcom made headlines following the discovery of what appeared to be on-disc DLC contained within retail copies of Resident Evil 6. Understandably, fans were a little bit miffed at the prospect that they would have to pay again for content they already own, but the publisher has stepped up to the mic and explained that yes, it's there, and it's there for a good reason, and no, you won't have to pay for it. The situation is simple. At the time the game went gold, the extra content simply wasn't ready to be released. Once it is, you will hopefully only have to download a few smaller files, and the content will be yours absolutely free. The new content is worth the wait as well. It contains a new difficulty mode called No Hope, which from all accounts is pretty tricky, as well as the introduction of a new co-op partner for Ada's campaign, which is now available from the start of the game. Infinity Ward also ruffled a few feathers this week when Muslim gamers took a closer look at a picture frame included in a multiplayer map from Modern Warfare 2. The picture frame, hung crookedly in a bathroom in a house in the favela map, is beautifully decorated with Arabic writing. The ornate text is a quote attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, reading, "Allah is beautiful and he loves beauty." On the surface, it's no different to many pieces of religious art that people display in their homes, but it is offensive to some followers of Islam to display holy teachings on or in a bathroom. Following the release of a well-worded, thoughtful protest video which suggested the error could have been made through ignorance rather than malice, Activision and Infinity Ward took immediate action, issuing an apology and removing favela from map rotations in both Modern Warfare 2 and 3. It will be returned after a title update has been released, removing the offensive texture from both games, as well as any similar images they find in the game libraries. And now for something completely different. Linkin Park has revealed its new tune, Castle of Glass. The track is a collaboration between the band and the developers of Medal of Honor Warfighter, portraying the experiences of generations of military families. It's a little different to what we'd expected. Many of these war game tie-ins are all about the glorification of conflict, but it is a remarkably fitting song for a game that acknowledges the impact that war has beyond the battlefield. From music to movies, and the Gears of War adaptation is reportedly back on the cards as Creative Artists Agency gets sick and tired of being pushed back behind The Hobbit. The film was originally picked up by New Line Cinemas back in 2007, but with the studio a little distracted, the agency is now considering moving Gears of War elsewhere. We still don't have any names attached to the project, which has cycled through several directors in the past 5 years, but the latest screenplay has been contributed by Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides writer Stuart Beattie. He's also written a screenplay for a Halo adaptation. And speaking of Halo, keep an eye out for the launch trailer for Halo 4. Just in case you thought that game wasn't going to be spectacular enough, two of Hollywood's finest are collaborating with Microsoft and 343 Industries on a 2-minute extravaganza. David Fincher is stepping into the executive producer role, a change from his directorial position on Fight Club, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and The Social Network. Taking on the director's chair is Tim Miller, visual effects lead on the incredible Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He's worked with Fincher before on this title sequence for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. The launch trailer will debut well ahead of the game, hitting screens on October 18th before Halo 4 release on November 6th. From the big screen to the smaller one, Battlefield Bad Company will be made into an hour-long comedy to be shown on Fox. A collaboration between Happy Madison, Sony TV and John Eisendrath from Alias, EA's Patrick Bach and Patrick O'Brien are joining in as executive producers. Again, We don't know much about what's in store for the action series. Some of us aren't really sure we want to, but the series will be based on the 2008 video game and tells the story of 4 soldiers who have exited military life only to find their former commanding officer wants them dead. That's our first look at Star Citizen, the new game in the works from Wing Commander creator Chris Roberts. He's been working as a Hollywood producer for the past 12 years, but gaming's siren call has reached his ears once again, and he's returned with open arms. Star Citizen, like so many others, will be crowdfunded, but Roberts has done away with third-party sites and is going it alone, raising the money via his official website. He may or may not have thought that one through properly. Within a few hours of announcing the game, his website crashed under the strain of too many visitors. It's good in terms of publicity, but not so much when you're trying to make money out of it. And while we're looking at the skies, there is another new kid on the block, The Astronauts, a new studio out of Poland. The name might not be familiar just yet, but the talent certainly should be. The Astronauts are the 3 key developers who left Gears of War Judgment creator People Can Fly. With a pedigree that touches on Painkiller, Gears of War and Bulletstorm, we're not quite sure what to expect from the new studio, but they have just signed a multi-game deal to use the Unreal Engine, so we know that it should at least look pretty neat. Now, a few quick things. Sid Meier and Ken Levine are both playable in XCOM Enemy Unknown simply by entering their names when picking your soldiers. Both characters are fully equipped and come with some pretty nifty stats. Meier is a willful support officer, while the Irrational Games founder Levine plays a bearded sniper known as, what else, Big Daddy. New DLC for Borderlands 2 has been spotted off the starboard bow, with Captain Scarlet and her pirate's booty set to arrive on October 16th. You'd be forgiven for thinking this one might be an aquatic mission, but instead it's set in the middle of a vast desert packed with new enemies, new vehicles and new currency. Captain Scarlet will cost you around $10, or you can grab the season pass for Borderlands 2 for just $29.99. Rayman Legends will miss its 2012 release date, with Ubisoft announcing a delay until the first quarter of 2013, just squeaking in on the good side of the Wii U launch window. The developer claims this is to give the studio more time, but analysts wonder if it also has something to do with avoiding a clash with a certain Wii U plumber. And finally this week, what else would we look at but this brand new trailer from Dishonored? It's the reason we're here, the reason all these beautiful people have dressed up, and the reason so many assignments have been handed up late this week. The trailer is not for the faint-hearted. While the game itself can be played quite stealthily and with virtually no bloodshed, this footage takes a somewhat different approach.
The beloved Empress dead, and everyone thinks you were the killer, but we know what really happened, don't we?
All members of the Watch, we are now under high alarm. Stay alert and detain any suspicious person on site.
Dishonored from Arcane Studios and Bethesda Softworks is available right now around the world for PC, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. If you haven't yet got a copy, you should probably get that fixed. For the full version of those trailers or for more information on any of these stories, head to playerattack.com. I'm Jessica Citizen. I'm going to go join the party.